Assalamualaikum viewers, please like, share and subscribe this channel. Links of PDF files used in this video are given in description. So today is a part 3 of a lecture series about high performance liquid chromatography or HPLC, and in this particular lecture we will mainly focus on isocratic and gradient elution types. In the very first lecture of HPLC, we have studied invention, analogy, applications, advantages, system configuration, and actual system of HPLC. Similarly, in the second lecture, we have discussed the topics such as solvent reservoirs, degassing, solvent delivery system, sample injection, HPLC columns, and detectors. Whereas in today's third lecture of HPLC, we will mainly discuss about these topics, which are elution types, different types of solvents which are used in HPLC, elution effects, and the thermostat. So in this way, all these topics are covered in the three lectures about HPLC or high performance liquid chromatography. So first we will discuss about what are the elution types. So there are two types of elution. Number one is isocratic elution and number two is gradient elution. In isocratic elution, this is the method where a mobile phase of constant composition is used. Now this isocratic elution is useful for analyzing one compound on several compounds that have similar retention times. Whereas in gradient elution, the composition of mobile phase is continuously changed. So in this method, we use two or more components in a mobile phase and its composition is being changed depending upon analysis time. This is useful for simultaneous analysis of compounds that have wide range of retentions. So these are the two types of elution types. So if we can see here, this is the bottles of solvent reservoir. So there are 4 bottles. In case of isocratic elution, the all bottles will contain the same solvent. Whereas in case of gradient elution, we usually mix the ratios. And for example, if we want to use 3 parts of water and 1 part of methanol, so we will fill 1 bottle with methanol and 3 bottles with water. And if we want 50-50 ratio, to 2 bottles will be filled with water and 2 bottles will be filled with methanol. So in this way we can contain 2 or more solvents, and then by using a computerized system we can mix these solvents, and after mixing them with the constant composition or with the increasing or decreasing composition, we can fed them in and they can pass through the columns of the chromatography. So that is why we use several bottles or different bottles or different solvent reservoirs to send them for so the analysis. Question arises, why we need gradient elution? So its answer lies in this slide, and the main purpose is the separation efficiency. For example, first of all, we will select the isocratic elution in which the composition remains same. So in this graph or chromatogram, what we are seeing that we are taking water 60% and methanol 40%. So this is appropriate for early 4 compounds, whereas the 2 later compounds, they have a very long retention times. So why? Because we are using water and water is a polar medium, so these curves or peaks are coming very early and these peaks are coming very late. So it means these peaks have strong interaction with water and these have less interaction with water. Now what we can do is that in order to reduce the retention time, we can increase the ratio of methanol. So in this way, in the second part, we have increased the ratio of methanol to 80%. Now what has happened, then these 2 or 4 curves or the peaks have joined together, and these 2 have become earlier in arrival. So there, these two peaks have reduced their time. So I mean, these two peaks now have shifted here in this position. But this graph or chromatogram is also not suitable because now these peaks have merged together. So in order to resolve this problem, what we are doing, that we are continuously increasing the concentration of methanol. So in the start, we are in starting the experiment with 30% of methanol, and at the end we are increasing it and we are reaching at 95% of ethanol. So we are continuously increasing the concentration of methanol. So that is why the word gradient elution has come. Now what is its effect? Now we can see that initially the four peaks, they have arisen, and by increasing the concentration, the remaining two peaks have also arisen, and they have short retention times. So in this way, by using the gradient elution, we have reduced the retention times, and the peaks have also not merged together or combined together, and they have a good resolution. So by using gradient elution, we can increase the separation efficiency, and we are also not compromising the resolution of the peaks. The other advantage is, by using gradient elution, we overall decreases the overall analysis time of the experiment per sample, and also we are reducing the environmental effect, as we are continuously moving the solvent through the system. And if the peaks arise earlier, then it means we are not consuming too much solvent, and the solvent is therefore not wasted too much. So this is also a green approach. So in this way, there are a lot of advantages of gradient elution. This particular slide describes how many HPLC solvents we can use, and if we are moving from right to left side, then the polarity of the solvents is reducing, and if we move from left to right, then polarity of the solvents is increasing. Remember, if we see that hexane is non-polar, then isooctane is slightly more polar, cyclohexane more polar, carbon tetrachloride polarity is increasing, then toluene, then chloroform, then methylene chloride, after then tetrahydrofuran or THF, then ethyl ether, then acetone, then acetonitrile, then pyridine, then isopropanol, then ethanol, then methanol, then water, and then acetic acid. So most polar compound that is used as a mobile phase in HPLC is the acetic acid, whereas most non-polar compound or solvent that is used in HPLC is hexane, and all other solvents are in between, that we have a plenty of choice, and we can not only choose one of these solvents, and we can also mix various types of solvents in order to make elution a gradient type. Remember that if we are using more polar mobile phase and less polar stationary phase, then we are going towards normal phase elution, whereas if we are using less polar mobile phase and more polar stationary phase, then we are going towards reverse phase elution. So this is all about different types of solvents that are used in HPLC. Next topic is about column oven. So what we can do in order to enhance the efficiency of chromatographic separation, that the column of the chromatography technique should be it at a constant temperature. So for this purpose, we are using a block heater type, as we can see here that this is the column, and it is placed inside the environment or of control temperature, whereas second is air circulation type of environment, in which the column is stored and the air is circulated through the column system in order to keep the temperature of the column at a constant temperature. So this also enhances the efficiency of chromatographic separation. So by keeping the things under constant temperature, there are two advantages. Number one is retention time and number two is resolution. So if we can see here in this slide that at a temperature of 45 centigrade, somewhat the peaks have merged together. At 35 centigrade, their separation is more efficient, and at a 25 centigrade, they have also got a good separation, but the time of elution increases. So in these three options we can see that 35 centigrade temperature is optimum for resolution of the peaks. So second, if we see here in this diagram that this is the separation of peaks at 25 centigrade, this is at 45 centigrade, and this is at 65 centigrade, and we are seeing that at a temperature of 65 centigrade 10 different compounds have appeared in the chromatogram. In 45 centigrade only 7, whereas in 25 centigrade only 5 compounds have appeared. So it means the temperature not only affects the resolution, but it also affects the overall analysis. So in this way temperature is important, and if we maintain a certain temperature according to the compounds that are present and that we want to separate, so it also affects the efficiency of the chromatographic system. So this was all about a lecture about chromatography, and I hope you have well understood this lecture series. And if still you feel some confusion, then you can always ask questions about this technique in the comment section, and I will respond to your queries to the best of my knowledge. Okay, thank you. Allah Hafiz.